learners, today in this unit we will know about Air India. Air India is India's national carrier and one of the premium service provider in domestic and international aviation market, and it is one of the biggest foreign exchange earners for India. We have included this case study for the tourism course from the point of view of familiarizing you with the functioning of an international airline, providing you with an idea about the potential and capacity of an airline in promoting tourism. Keeping in view of these objectives, we will study different aspects of Air India in this unit. First, we will discuss the organization, structure, and fleet strength of Air India. Then, we will glance through its performance over a period of last 5 years. Then, we will also provide the details about its areas of operation and the routes covered. The unit also discusses Air India's effort in promoting tourism in India. Finally, the achievements of Air India in the field of tourism promotion will also be dealt with. Let's look at the objectives of this unit. After going through this unit, you would be able to know about the nature of its organization structure and fleet strength, its performance over a period of its operational years, areas of its operations and route network, the efforts made by Air India for promoting tourism, and its achievement in attracting foreign tourists to India. Let's start with knowing a bit about its organization. Air India, the premium flight carrier of India, is one of the most extensive flight service provider in India. It is also the flag carrier airline of our country. It is owned by Air India Limited, which is a government-owned enterprise. It's a statutory corporation which came into existence with the enactment of Air Corporation Act on 1st August 1963. Now let's take a look in the history of Air India. Air India has its beginning in Tata Airlines, which was established by J.R.D. Tata on 15th October 1932. The first scheduled service was inaugurated in 1932, carrying air mail between Karachi to Bombay. Initial service included weekly airmail service between Karachi, Madras via Ahmedabad and Bombay. By 1939, the routes had been extended to Trivandrum, Delhi, Colombo, Lahore and some intermediate points. After World War II, the regular commercial service in India was restored and Tata Airlines became a public limited company in 1946 and it was renamed as Air India Limited. After independence, 49% of the airline was acquired by the Government of India in 1948. Then, in 1953, the Government of India passed the Air Corporation Act and purchased a majority stake in the carrier from Tata Sons, and the company was renamed as Air India International Limited. Then, after the amendment of Air Corporation Act in 1962, the suffix international was dropped and the company was renamed as Air India. In May 2004, Air India launched a new enterprise, a low-cost subsidiary called Air India Express, to connect cities in India with the Middle East and Southeast Asia. Until 2007, Air India operated on international long-haul routes, while Indian Airlines operated on domestic and international short-haul routes. In 2007, Air India and Indian Airlines were merged under the name Air India Limited, and the airline took delivery of its first Boeing 777 aircraft. But soon in 2009, Air India Limited faced a series of losses that went up to 72 billion rupees. Now, Air India's decision to buy around 100 new aircrafts, and ill-timed merger with Indian Airlines were few reasons for its poor financial situation. Major steps were taken by the government to recover from these losses, and one such attempt was the privatization of the airline, but it was an unsuccessful attempt made in 2013. Air India Limited split its engineering and cargo business into two separate subsidiaries, Air India Engineering Service Limited and Air India Transport Services Limited in 2013. Air India became the 27th member of Star Alliance in 2014. In 2015, it signed an agreement with Citibank and State Bank of India to raise 300 million US dollar to meet its working capital requirements. Then, in measure to curb the financial losses, the government again has started steps for privatization of Air India, and in 2017 a committee had been set up to start this process. Now let's take a look at the organizational structure of Air India. Being a statutory corporation, Air India submits a yearly report of its activities to the Parliament through the Ministry of Civil Aviation. The corporation has its headquarters in New Delhi, and all the policy matters are decided at the headquarter level and executed through field and branch offices which are spread in large number of cities in India and abroad. It enjoys functional autonomy and its management is through a chairman and managing director who works under a board of directors. This board is reconstituted every 2 years by the government. The board of director is the highest governing body of Air India and the chairman cum managing director falls under it. Under the managing director, there are deputy managing director and a host of directors looking after various functions and departments. The departments could be flight safety, material management, engineering, training, cargo, finance, integration, corporate affairs, strategy and planning, medical services, IT, etc. Now let's take a look at the employee strength of Air India. As on 31st March 2018, there were around 10,000 employees working in Air India, and Air India also employs contract employees and casual employees depending upon its need. Every year, all the employees of the company who have completed 25 years of service are presented with a long service memento. So, this shows their healthy organizational culture. Air India staff also have many sports teams and have won many national and international sports tournaments. Now let's take a look at the logo of Air India. It is a red colored flying swan with Konark Chakra in orange placed inside it. The flying swan has been morphed from Air India's logo, the Centaur, whereas the Konark Chakra is reminiscent of Indian's logo. Air India airplanes have this logo on the tail of the aircraft. While the aircraft is ivory in color, the base retains the red streaks of Air India. Running parallel to each other are the orange and red speed lines from front door to the rear door, subtly signifying the individual identities merged into one. The brand name Air India runs across the tail of the craft. Air India is also represented by its mascot, famously known as the Maharaja. Maharaja is a lovable figure who has a distinctive personality with his outsized mustache, the striped turban, and his aquiline nose. As a mascot, Maharaja has completed 56 years and has become the most recognizable mascot all over the world. His antics, his expressions, his puns have allowed Air India to promote its services with a unique panache and an unmatched sense of subtle humor. The fleet size of Air India at the time of nationalization was of 4 Constellation aircrafts, which only had a sitting capacity of 60. But as of 31st March 2018, Air India has a total of 120 aircrafts operating under various sectors. In this, there are 73 owned and 24 leased and 23 for selling and leasing back. The fleet has both Airbus and Boeing aircrafts. Now let's take a look at the areas of operation. The first scheduled service was from Karachi to Bombay via Ahmedabad, and at the time of nationalization, Air India operated 4 weekly services on India UK route and 3 services fortnightly on India Nairobi route. From that, Air India has come a long way. Since then, Air India has introduced new routes in its network with bigger and faster aircrafts. As of March 2018, Air India flies to a total of 94 destinations, including 54 domestic destinations and 40 international destinations in 28 countries across the world. Let's talk about the domestic sector. In the domestic sector, if we divide the whole country in different regions, then the flights to the northern region account for almost 36% of the total flying capacity. It is followed by 25% of the western region and then 22% of the southern region. In Air India has almost 15% of the flights in the eastern region of the country. Looking at the international operation of Air India, US and Canada have a total capacity of 8% and the maximum is in Gulf and Middle East, which accounts for almost 35% of the total operating flights. It is followed by SAARC, which has 15% of the total operating flights. And then we have regions such as UK, Europe, Southeast Asia and Far East Asia where Air India has its operation. Air India also has code share agreement and is a Star Alliance member. Under Star Alliance, it has a total of 20 code share agreements that include 14 alliance with star carriers and 6 with non-star carriers. The code share with star members include Lufthansa, Austrian Airlines, Swiss, Ethiopian Airlines, Singapore Airlines, Turkish Airlines, Egypt Air, Asiana, Air Canada, Adria, EVA Air, Croatia Airlines, Brussels Airlines, and TAP Portugal. All these code sharing agreements allow Air India to increase its service base. In addition to this, Air India also has free flow code sharing agreement with non-star airlines such as Air Mauritius, Hong Kong Airlines, Air Astana, Flyby, Air Austral and Air India Express. Now let's take a look at the financial performance of Air India over a period of 5 years. This graph shows the revenue and expenditure of Air India from 2012 to 2018. In this graph, we can clearly see that the expenses of Air India are greater than their revenue, and this has resulted in an overall financial loss for Air India. The airline's latest annual report shows that it had incurred accumulated loss of rupees 53,583 crores as of March 31, 2018. These losses have been accumulated over the last decade with the net loss in 2017-18 coming to rupees 5,348 crore. Air India's current liability exceeds its current assets by almost 38,000 crores, and together with the accumulated losses, there has been a complete net worth erosion of the company. The Government of India To help Air India in such grave financial situation, the government has infused a equity capital of rupees 18,000 million during 17-18 financial year. The paid up capital as on March 2018 is 2,86,902 millions. Further, a equity of rupees 6,500 million and rupees 9,800 million was infused by the government during April 2018 and August 2018 respectively. Till now, Air India Limited is 100% owned by the Government of India. But to revive a dying airline, the government has now invited bids from potential buyers for 76% of its stake in Air India in March 2018. But not a single bidder came forward by the deadline. Many concerned about government's residual minority stake and almost unwilling to take on the huge debt pile. The government in 2019 is again making concrete efforts to privatize Air India by liberalizing the terms and conditions for the sale of the airline. Now, at least 95% stake of Air India will be up for sale in second disinvestment attempt as compared to 70% stake of earlier attempt. Now let's focus our attention on the role Air India has played in tourism promotion. In this section, we will discuss in detail the role of Air India in the promotion of tourism and generating tourist traffic to India. Air India, being the national carrier of India, has played a very important role in putting India on tourist world map. It has been promoting tourism from the time when aviation sector was only catered by it. There were no other players in the market. Presently, Air India is providing many services and taking on new initiatives to facilitate air travel to India, which will further increase tourism. Now let's take a look at the current initiatives and services of Air India. They have recently launched Maharaja Direct. Maharaja Direct represents a bundle of services to make the business class of Air India more attractive. It includes better ambience, better service and better experience. Air India also offers premier clubs. The flying return program of the company has 4 levels of membership: base level, the Silver Edge Club, the Golden Edge Club and the Maharaja Club. Membership of the Maharaja Club, Golden Edge Club and Silver Edge Club is on the basis of earning 75,000, 50,000 and 25,000 miles respectively in a span of 12 months. Membership to these clubs entitles members to enhanced privileges like bonus flying return points, additional baggage allowance, priority check-in, priority confirmation from the wait list, upgraded vouchers and lounge access at select airports. The membership base of the club as on 31st March 2018 is that Maharaja Club has around 1053 members, Golden Edge Club has 1800 members and Silver Edge Club has around 8000 members. Flying return programs. Air India has a very dedicated flying return program which is designed to recognize and reward flying return program. Air India has a very dedicated flying return program which is designed to recognize and reward frequent flyers of Air India. The benefits and privileges of this program are that the passengers get increased check-in baggage allowance, tele check-in, personalized check-in counters at selected airports, and apart from earning and redeeming on Air India, flying return members can also earn and redeem on all 27 Star Alliance partner carriers. Members can acquire points while traveling on select flights of Air India code share partner airlines also. and members can transfer reward points from Air India's non-airline partners to flying returns. Now, total flying return member as on 31st March 2018 was 23,13,652. Now, let's take a look at some of the marketing initiatives Air India is taking to promote air travel in India. To combat the increasing competition from the low-cost carriers such as Indigo and SpiceJet, Air India offers various annual and short-term initiatives or promotions to increase the load factors and revenues of Air India. Some of the promotional initiatives undertaken during the financial year 2017-18 are commission and assured incentives to all travel agents in India for promoting Air India. This commission motivates the travel agents to. Air India has been facing serious financial loss from past many years. There are many reasons behind this, such as overall economic policy changes, high fuel cost, or emergence of low-cost carriers, due to which the Air India has had huge debt and has been seeking financial help. To revive Air India, now the government is undergoing attempts of privatization to convert it into a private airlines. Thank you.